It's Cash Color Campus, a high level of conversation. Back at it at Livehiphopdaily.tv. And I get a chance to be socially responsible today.
I love it. Yes.
I get a chance to be
this.
socially
I
responsible
like
today. As you know, we often try to in the show, but it's really important that I feel like we do that as we just witnessed a lot of things over these past couple of weeks, from COVID and just watching people suffer through diseases that they don't necessarily need to be going through,
Right.
to the pandemic of racism. But I can only tackle one at a time, and today we're going to tackle COVID. So I got a guest in the building. I'm Sherri Scott with BigFacts, small. I don't want to say it wrong.
Okay. It's BigFactsSmallActs.
BigFactsSmallActs. I had it in my
Right.
mind too because it was rhyming with Sherri Scott. I had the whole thing going.
No worries.
But
no
thank you,
worries.
Sherri.
Yeah.
So thank you for coming by today. And your organization is helping spread the word about COVID and making sure that our community in particular stays prepared.
Absolutely.
Speak to us about that and what kind of brought you towards that. What brought you to that movement, I guess, and made you want to jump on that?
So I'm a writer by trade and training. And when COVID first hit, you know, as a writer, you're always paying attention to the news
Yeah.
and trends. And so, like, really early on in January, my family and myself, we started buying masks and Lysol and all those things,
Yeah.
right?
Toilet paper too?
All that.
Okay.
No kidding. Toilet paper. I was like, why do we need toilet paper? Like, what's going to happen? You know? But about late March, when things started to, right before things shut down, I went to Kroger. I live in Sylvan Hills, which is in Southwest Atlanta, and well, barely. People from Atlanta get real offended when I say so. Fine, almost East Point. Anyway, I live in Sylvan Hills, and the Cleveland Kroger is my closest Kroger. And I went, and nobody was social distancing, and nobody had masks on, and I knew the numbers, right? Because again, I've been paying attention, and I knew that we were going to be vulnerable because we had the diseases, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us have the underlying health diseases that make you particularly vulnerable, and then also because we work the front lines, right? Like, we work hourly jobs, we drive the buses, we take care of people's kids and grandparents, you know, we clean, you know. So I'm in the Kroger, and I see, like, nobody's social distancing. The people who are Kroger don't have masks on, they don't have gloves. I have a mask on, and people are giving me a side eye like I'm being rude.
Or a cop. I know the Kroger you're at. I used to call that stripper Kroger.
It is a sketchy
Yeah.
Kroger, but it's my Kroger. You know what I mean? It's my Kroger. But so I go up to check out, and people are crunched up on each other, and the woman behind the cashier, like, you can see it on her face, you know, like she's about to cry. Like, she's just overwhelmed because she knows this thing is out there. No one's paying attention. You know, corporate hasn't given her. So I get up there and I said, "You don't have a mask?" And she said, "We have the plexiglass." And I said, "I know, but like,
You have a mask.
if you move here or here,
Yeah.
right? If you reach to grab something off,
If
right?
somebody coughs in the air.
So
You know,
someone coughs,
there's a
or
lot
if,
happening.
you know, or if someone has trouble with the little whatever thingamabobber, which they're not cleaning that regularly,
No.
right? And has to fix that. You know, everyone who's ever worked in retail, you know, the stuff breaks, you got to jiggle with it. Anyway, so I asked her, I was like, "You don't have a mask?" And she said, "No." And I said, did they give you sanitizer? And she said, "No, I brought my own." So right. I was just like, this is it. So, you know, it incensed me enough that I started thinking about, okay, I can be mad or I can do something. And I'm blessed to have a lot of really amazing creative friends who we help each other all the time. And so I knew if they helped me with, like, my personal creative projects, they would definitely help me with something that was real and important to the community.
Yeah.
And they did. And then on an even higher level, you know, just being able, you know, I work in marketing and advertising, and I've helped people sell soda water and, you know, recruit people into the armed services and, like, all these things. So it's like, why would I not use those skills here in a way that's quick? Because that was the other thing too, right? I knew that Governor Kemp was going to be opening the state up. Like, again, it's
this
all
is all
there.
It's all time sensitive.
Yeah, and it's all there. Like, I cannot encourage people enough. Like, you have to start reading. Ernie Suggs is doing a really great job in the AJC. American Public Media, they run NPR, they do a really great job. They have an actual tracker that has some up-to-date numbers, right, national numbers. But Governor Kemp, when he opened it, you knew he was going to open up the state. You could see the pressure coming. And I knew people weren't wearing masks.
Yeah.
You know, I knew people didn't really understand like how serious it was, particularly for us. If you look at the stats now, I think, and I don't want to be wrong, but I think it said 42% of Black-owned businesses closed between February and April, right? So it's like, it's not just that it's, you know, making us sick, as it is, and it kills us at a higher rate, but it's also like just, you know, just we're not prepared as a community, and the least thing we can do is wear a mask. So that's kind of like the big fact, and the small act is like, please, like
wear that mask.
Wear the mask.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you know, I'm listening to your conversation, and you had mentioned that if people just read, you know, from the AJC to NPR and public radio, there's plenty of services where you can actually learn and get.
And the AJC is free now, so.
Is it really?
Because of, that's what I'm saying. Because
COVID?
of COVID, yeah.
Makes sense. MARTA is free right now too.
Right.
But my point is, that's an issue in our community right now. Like it's like we have almost. We have conditioned ourselves to believe everything is fake news at this point, unless you find it on social media, which is somehow now the real news. Like I missed 10 years ago when older people would tell me that, you know, if I told them, hey, I just saw this on Instagram or I saw this on Facebook, why are you listening to Facebook? That's not real. I'm like, now y'all the same people telling me, like, read this. I'm nervous about that because the facts that are coming from AJCs and some of these outlets that you mentioned would be concrete and would be correct and would make you want to say, well, let me just put this mask on, even if it does seem slightly inconvenient. Not because I don't want, maybe because I don't want to protect myself. I might think it's a joke, but like my mother's 80. I want to protect her.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Correct.
But instead, you're taking your cues from marketing and bots on social media who are literally just putting out stuff to see what the engagement's going to be.
We all have cousins who work in healthcare in some form. Like that's who you should be talking. Like listen to those.
Yeah.
Listen to that cousin, not the cousin who now has a degree.
Yeah, or not the
found,
cousin who got a friend down at the World Health Organization.
Right.
And they've been knowing. Like, nah, not
yeah, especially Atlanta. Everybody in Atlanta knows someone who works at the CDC.
Yeah, everybody. And it always pops up at the most random time, like something you just whatever. But you're right. It's a very small act, really. It was a big act, but it's a really small thing at the same time to just take some personal responsibility and wear a mask, like
and wash your hands.
Yeah,
and like because.
Or how about I didn't know people didn't wash their hands that much in the first place.
Okay, that's and which is true, and it's a joke, and you know what I mean. But like. You should be washing your hands all the time, like anytime you come in your house. And you know, I didn't wash I did not. Every time I came in the house, I did not wash my hands. Now, if I had gone grocery shopping or something, but like, you know, if I had just ran into the house, like, no, it just wasn't, you know, so maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's part of our new normal that I guess, well, shit, it's a part of our new normal. We have to condition ourselves to wash our hands every time we turn around.
Every time you come in your home.
Yeah.
Because it is, you know, I look at the data, I've seen some simulations, like you touch everything.
Yeah.
And if you have been on the MARTA, you know, or even really the grocery store, you know, like
MARTA scares me. You know, I'm actually on MARTA every day, and I'm very terrified of how they handle COVID on MARTA. Because yes, I have a mask on, and maybe a couple other people might have a mask on, but apparently the homeless population of Atlanta has been moved to the trains. And if you go on a train right now, there might be a whole car that's just homeless people sleeping on trains, masked, unmasked, very much sick.
Exactly. So that's you asked. So that's also something that we're working on is trying to get the masks and kits out to people. So there's a group called Mask for the People. Okay. And we're partnering with them. You know, we're still trying to figure out the details of it. But the good news is, so I'm all over the place, but it'll come back. So C4, which is a nonprofit organization here in town, is our fiscal sponsor. So we're able to take donations. So one of the things that we're going to be focused on in the next couple of months, because we have the runoff election in August. Yes. And then we have the election in November. So we want to get masks and kits into people's hands, right? And so Masks for the People already have a mechanism together to do that, and we want to raise money for them. Because $10,000 will get you 5,000 kits. So it's a mask, it's sanitizer, I think there's something else too, maybe wipes. And just passing those out, right? Because
that's needed, you know, and it really breaks my heart to see that because I feel like that's such you talk about all lives matter. You talk about an underrepresented market of all lives. That there's a group of homeless people right now on MARTA sleeping on trains, and nobody's thinking about them sneezing, how they feel, how they're getting sick, or how that can affect you as you're sitting there without a mask.
Right.
I'm here. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
It's just like.
Some of this is common sense at some point, man. like
it is,
yeah.
and it, you know, it's I wish that it didn't have to be a grassroots thing that my friends and I did, but I'm also glad it could be. But like, it seems like common sense to me that would be a priority.
Well, I applaud you on what you're doing. Is there any way that we can actually assist? Like you mentioned about donations. Is there a way we could donate, either if it's monetarily or even just me trying to help people donate masks? Like I would love to do anything that we can help.
So we have a website, BigFactsSmallActs.org.
Yes.
And then we're on Instagram too at BigFactsSmallActsATL. So all our information there. We also have tips for like staying healthy while you're protesting and voting. All that stuff's on there. Definitely would love donations through C4. You can go to bit.ly /C4 Big Facts. But also too, we want to remain true to the grassroots, ideas. So we're always looking for people to do signs for us or murals. So if there's any, Fabian Williams and W, they all put masks over some of their more iconic murals for us, right? So anybody else who's interested in doing that, we have a partner with the ad agency here in town who, just saw what we were doing and were true allies in that they put money and time against what we wanted to do, as opposed to try to like tell us what we should do. That's what's
up. You had touched on one point that I did want to bring up, which is, there are two pandemics going on right now. We have COVID-19, and we clearly have the battle against racism. Absolutely. So people are out protesting. They're out being very active, which I love. They're out being very vocal. But I'm also seeing a lot of people being very naked face-wise. Like, what are some of the tips that people can use, let's say, to make sure that they're protecting themselves while they are out protesting?
Okay, so again, I know you roll your eyes, wear a mask.
Yeah.
But a real mask, we give people space as much as possible, and I know that sounds crazy, but it has to be a conscious decision. Right? Like, come with your crew, great, right? But you and your crew kind of need to be you and your crew.
And she doesn't mean looting. Like when you and your crew get together. She ain't talking about looting.
No. If you can, bring aerosol, like Lysol or spray disinfectant, because it's easier, And then basically when you come home, the same thing that you would do if you were a doctor or some first responder, you need to be stripping down before you get into your house,
That's a reality.
You need to go straight into the shower.
My wife makes me do that now, and it feels extremely like I'm in jail. Like you walk away, but again, I'm trying to do this for the better good of everything, because I do have older relatives. And I do want to see my mother in July. I'm flying back home to Boston, and I keep telling her I'm not going to bring Atlanta to Boston like in that way. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to bring Atlanta germs. So I'm trying to as hard as possible be as proactive about this and be cooperative. I could see me, and there's a lot of me's out there. I want to be disruptive about this. I want to say I don't want to wear a mask. I don't get the big deal. I want to be that person, but really, reality is in your face, and you really,
I'm contrarian all day long.
Exactly. I want to be that person so bad.
Baby sister, like I hate being told what to do.
Yeah.
But
we're here now. Yeah, we really do need to make some kind of headway here. So again, you already mentioned how people can get involved. Is there anything that's coming up, like activation-wise or event-wise, that people could really kind of just jump on immediately and trying to help out?
So, again, would love not masks, but people to make signs. So I want to, in the next, really around 4th of July, because I know there's going to be a lot of protests, is have up signs around the community, particularly 30310, 30315, the south and the southwest side, just reminding people. Because, even if you have a mask, you got to wear them. You know what I mean? Because even the Wendy's, right? I was at the Wendy's the other day, and there's a ton of people there, and that is beautiful. They do not have masks on.
I thought it was ironic about that night was not only did they have the protest and the fire of Wendy's, but not too far down the road from there, Travis Porter had their show where they did the parking lot show. And again, I'm watching two crowds of people in two different parts of Atlanta doing two different things, but they're all consistent with not wearing masks. You know what I'm saying? They're all consistent with that and all in agreement.
I got to tell you, and I know you probably need to get back. So I was driving up Sylvan, and there is a food truck park, which I love. I've lived there since 2006. Finally, we have food in my neighborhood that's not McDonald's.
Yeah.
No shady McDonald's. But anyway.
No shady McDonald's.
I mean? Yeah. Not my point. I love it because it was just black people all lined up to support black businesses, because that's been the call, right? We've been putting this call out, support black businesses, support black businesses. So I loved it. Nobody had a mask on. Nobody was socially distancing. So they were just standing, the servers did, right? The people who were serving the food, they had masks on. But at least 50 people who were lined up, right up on each other, And it's just like, we as we have to take responsibility. I would love to be able to take some masks to that food truck park and just say, here, you need to be passing these out when people come in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
you need to be going down the line, passing these out.
It's one of those situations where I really felt like, and I can see where people would get in that mode where I feel like people just decided COVID was over, and just decided I'm gonna go outside.
And I get it.
Yeah,
I'm tired of it.
Yeah, because it's part of you, having to deal with what you call a quote unquote new normal. Like I do take MARTA every day. I remember standing outside the Midtown waiting for a bus that apparently don't run no more, and I didn't learn that until right now. And that's part of this new normal, that y'all don't have certain bus lines and you get on a bus and only half the bus is now operational because they have the whole band that separates the driver from us now. So. Which again, I don't see how that's better socially, but
so in the past 2 weeks, COVID deaths in the past 2 weeks, right? The COVID deaths among blacks have increased 24%.
Yeah, and let Trump tell it's because of extra testing. It's not, what I mean, like that.
Whatever.
When he
Either
said
way,
that,
we are dying.
Yeah, when he said that today, that was the biggest. Almost like, so you're admitting that you also didn't prepare for this, because really, if you just would have had testing, say like months ago, say we might not be running into this issue. But anywho,
we know it's been.
Yeah, it's been a cluster.
It's the history of this country. The point is, the big facts are all those things.
Yeah.
The small acts is please just wear a mask.
Please just wear a mask.
Just look out for each other. Mm-hmm. And the other thing is too, that particularly the west side of the city is older black folks. They get sick, they pass away, we would lose a black majority. And I'm not saying you have to have, but I'm just saying that's something to be very mindful of. Like those houses flip over and become gentrified, and all of a sudden, so there's a lot at stake when we talk about covering our community. There's a lot at stake. So
Yeah. And that's a good way to kind of market it to people. We're trying to cover our community. Have a mask on over a whole community. I'm giving out an idea right now.
Yeah.
Like that's an idea for somebody who's a muralist or something.
Yeah.
That is what that is. We need to cover our community.
Yeah.
So Sherri, I do appreciate you coming out. Again, let people know where they could find more information about the organization and definitely how they can help. Because I would love to see how we can help maybe get you some masks donated or possibly help get some funds donated.
I love that.
Yeah.
So again, it's BigFactsSmallActs.org. BigFactsSmallActs ATL on Instagram, and then if you wanted to donate to help us get more masks out into the city, it's bit.ly C4 BigFacts.
Thank you very much for coming through tonight. Thank you
for having me.
Educating us on how we could actually prepare ourselves better from protests to just overall in life. So thank you very much for coming out. That's Cash Color Campus, high level of conversation on livehiphopdaily.tv. Make sure you wash your hands.
Yeah.